What is the problem and why the whole family is being sent back to India?
Just like on YouTube, figure your brain some new food.
Hello people and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time on the channel, a special welcome to you. I ask that you check out the rest of my videos. If you like what you see, give them a thumbs up, leave a comment, but more than anything, I'm asking that you subscribe to the channel. Today's video is a different video. Normally I'm addressing politics in Jamaica or the US or anything that involves Jamaican or Caribbean people. Every now and then I may drop a video that relates to myself in Switzerland because that's where I'm living. But today, for the first time, I'm actually going to address a Swiss political topic and a Swiss deportation topic. So Swiss legal topic. I very rare ever touch Swiss legal topics. The reason for that is not that I'm not interested in the politics of Switzerland. Of course I am. I live here. And it's not that I'm not interested in the legal system of Switzerland. I am 100% interested in the legal system, and I've studied as much as I possibly can since I've been here that is available in English. So the reason why I rarely never cover Swiss politics or issues going on in Switzerland is because, for one, there's not a lot of Jamaicans in Switzerland. Two, there's not a lot of Caribbean people in Switzerland. And if I was to address the Swiss politics, it would not be a topic that my subscribers would be interested in. For one, Switzerland is a country where English is not its national language. So most of the information in regards to its politics and its legal system are in German, French, Italian, or Romance. So that's a total different story. Now that I've got that out of the way, it is clear that today's video is an exceptional video because it is about Swiss politics, Swiss immigration, Swiss legal system. But the reason why I believe this one is very important to share with my viewers and subscribers, it's because it involves law, it involves migration, it involves deportation. And those are subjects that I've covered on my channel several times, over and over again. And I want to emphasize that, like I've always done, that immigration status, they're privileges, they're not rights. Just as much as they were given to you, they can be taken away from you. And that applies in most countries around the world, including Switzerland. Recently, it came to my attention that an Indian family has been ordered deported back to India. And when I heard the news, I thought, okay, people get deported all the time. But it's very rare that an entire family gets deported. And this family is consisted of a father, a mother, a 16-year-old daughter, and an 11-year-old son. And you heard me right. The entire family is being deported. So first question comes to your mind is the question that came to my mind. Why is the whole family getting deported? So first thing you thought, well, maybe they all were here illegal, maybe they were filing asylum, so on and so forth, maybe their asylum weren't granted, so on and so forth. Well, that is definitely not the case. These are 4 legitimate immigrants in Switzerland, legal. I'm going to tell you how legal they were. The father and the mother has been here for over 20 years. The parents came to Switzerland in the year 2000. So these are not people who are seeking refuge or asking to be granted some level of stay. These people had their stay for more than a decade. So what is the problem and why the whole family is being sent back to India? Before I tell you why the whole family is being sent back to India, let me highlight the fact that the children were born in Switzerland. The 16-year-old daughter was born in Switzerland. The 11-year-old son was born in Switzerland. Most people would think, oh, they're Swiss. But Switzerland, like most countries, has adapted that whole immigration birth thing where in the 80s, if you were born in a foreign country, you automatically got that country's nationality. And somewhere down the line, decades later, I think countries starting to change that rule. So children that are born in foreign country, most foreign countries, gets the nationality of their parents, one of their parents. So in this case, even though the kids were born here in Switzerland, they are considered Indian nationals. That might be a shock to some people. So let's get into the nitty-gritty and find out why the 11-year-old and the 16-year-old and even the wife is getting deported. The husband has been found guilty of embezzlement, and we all know embezzlement is probably, where it comes to non-violent crime, embezzlement is probably the number one on the list of felonious crimes. So the husband was charged and arrested and did some time for embezzlement and bank fraud. So it's all about the Benjamins, right? Well, in Switzerland we don't do Benjamins, but you know what I mean. It's all about the money. So this husband was pulling a fast one on the Swiss government, and they gave him a 30-month sentence. After 30 months, he did 6 months in prison, and he appealed it to the Bern Administration Court, and the Administration Court upheld the Migration Zamp, which is the immigration department here. The Administration Court in Bern upheld the order of deportation and say the entire family must leave Switzerland because of the father's embezzlement and the fact that he's in too much of a debt. In other words, he owes Switzerland and the Swiss government too much money to ever pay them back. So for that reason, wife, son, and daughter caught in the crossfire. I am not here to criticize the Swiss government or the Swiss law. I believe that when you move into a country, or when you move into a job or a relationship, whatever the rules were then, those are the rules you signed up for. Those are the rules you agreed with. The only thing I think one should actually object to or try to fight are rules that were put in place after one's residency or after one signing of the agreement. So if the Swiss law included that criminal foreigners should be deported when he first came to this country and it could affect the whole family, then criminal foreigners should be deported. If that's the way it is, that's the way it is. So I'm not here to say whether I believe it's a wrong thing or a right thing. I'm only covering it because it's a unique thing. I don't think there's any other country that I've ever heard of that the whole family would be deported if one member of the family commits a crime and did time. So I thought that was unique, and maybe it would be informative to share it with my subscribers so that they can see that, well, the world is round, but all the countries of the world do their own thing and do it on a different scale. Anyway, as I read the article, I did come across a section where they say there is hope for the 16-year-old girl, but it's kind of like selling smoke if you ask me, because as much as they're saying there's hope for the 16-year-old girl, because last year, 2019, she started a vocational program, the Swiss government could make an exception of the rules for her not being deported to India, but she have to show proof that she can financially take care of herself. She's only 16, so I'm not so sure how's that gonna work out. So it's more like giving me something but not giving it to me at the same time. But listen to me clearly, you know, like I say, I believe this video will attract a lot of Swiss people. There are some Swiss people that speaks and understand English. So for them, I want to make clear that I'm not contesting the laws of Switzerland. I live in Switzerland. I've been living here 8 years consecutively now. And I love the way Swiss does things. I love their rules, I love their regulation, I love their law, etc., etc., etc. Speaking of loving their rules and all that, in Switzerland, there's government like in any other country. The Swiss government is laid out slightly different and uniquely different from the rest of the countries around the world. Switzerland is controlled and ran by a federation. However, a contest as to who runs the federation occurs like in every other country. So in Switzerland, we have several different parties, in particularly a party called the SVP. The SVP has had its reputation. It does not get the best reputation because before I nosedive into what the SVP was about, people hearsay news was like the SVP is a racist party, it's an anti-immigrant party, and it doesn't like immigrant, and it wants everything to be white and bright and only Swiss. That's what I used to hear and still hear. And the SVP, I wouldn't say they actually help that reputation to be diluted. I think their campaign markets that reputation, because living there in Switzerland, when it comes to election time in Switzerland, some of the campaign banners that SVP puts up, they could be depicted as racist. They could be depicted as anti-immigration, anti-foreigners. In particularly, you know, the SVP has this banner where there is a white sheep kicking out a black sheep. So without any further ado, let me go into the banners of the SVP. I'll just post them up right here. The first one says, "Finally create security. Yes to the elimination of criminal foreigners." I agree with that, but like I say, the image, it's literally in black and white. The second one says, "For criminal foreigners, safety initiation." This means for all you criminal foreigners, we are initiating safety for Switzerland. Free pass for all? No, no free pass for all people. In other words, the Swiss could get a free pass, but foreigners shall not get any free pass, especially criminal foreigners. And the last one says, "Stop mass naturalization and voting rights for foreigners. Twice no." Means hell no. Means no square. Means 2 times no. Voting rights for foreigners, no. The Swiss wants to keep it Swiss. Let me not say the Swiss because I'm only referring to one party here. After hearing about the deportation of this family, I decided to get in touch with a member of the SVP. And yesterday we had a brief chat with hopes that we will meet in the future to learn more, for me to learn more about the SVP. What I did get from the member of the SVP after I asked him, I was just playing, I asked, is the SVP anti-immigrant and is the SVP a racist party? Well, obviously he said no. He said the SVP is not anti-immigrant and the SVP is not a racist party. What he did say is the SVP aim to protect Switzerland and protect its borders from criminal. He explained to me that Switzerland is the only country in Europe where 25% of the residents are immigrants. And he further says not only that 25% of the residents are immigrant, but he says it's the only country where immigrants can come to Switzerland and within a matter of weeks, they can demand unemployment from the government. I live in Switzerland and I'm not 100% sure, or I'm not 100% believing what he says for 2 reasons. I live in Switzerland, and even though I don't live in all of Switzerland, I will say I do not believe that 25% of the people in Switzerland are foreigners. That would mean 1 out of every 4 people of 8 million that are foreigners. I'm not really buying that unless someone actually show me the numbers. The next thing that he said that I didn't quite buy into was the fact that immigrants could come here and weeks after being here, they could get unemployment. Not possible. From my knowledge, that is not possible. But I will tell you how I feel about foreigners, not in Switzerland alone, but worldwide. Whether you migrate from a country to my country, Jamaica, or whether Jamaicans migrate to any foreign country. You know, migration is a worldwide thing. This is how I believe This is my belief when it comes to migration. I do not believe that people should migrate to other people's country and become a burden to the state. I do not believe that you should leave your country, go to the US, go to Canada, go to England, and then sign up for welfare. I believe that it's totally wrong. It's just immoral. It's wrong on so many levels. You go to these countries for opportunities, and I think you should seize these opportunities. On the flip side, if you have put in work into that country and you have been there for years, I would say a minimum of 5 years, and situation happened, maybe you lost your job, or maybe you fell ill, then you can make claim from the system because you actually put in that piggy bank. So now you can take out of the piggy bank. But I don't believe that you should go to foreign countries and become a financial burden to that country. I am 1000% against that. The next thing I'm against all criminals being deported. Hear me out before you all go crazy. When I say I'm against all criminals being deported, I mean there are certain crimes that should not attract deportation. There are crimes such as, let's say you were driving your car, you lost control, you hit someone, they died, that is manslaughter by driving, and you had to go to prison. Under the law, you're a criminal, but it is something that could have happened to anyone, really. So I don't think a crime like that should attract deportation. I don't think a bar fight should attract deportation because you're in a bar, someone was talking trash, they probably shove you, you shove them, you punch them in the face, you got locked up for assault, and now you're a criminal. I don't think you should be deported for that. Why? Could happen to anyone. I think you should be deported for crimes that are thought through, like plotting to kill someone, like selling and smuggling drugs. Those are not crimes on a whim. Those are crimes that you're consciously aware of that is a criminal act. Robbery, burglary, rape, things that takes a moment for you to think about. I think you should be deported for that. No country around the world should embrace criminal elements within their society. But when you use the term criminal, criminal could be taking the bus and forgetting to pay. That's a crime. Criminal could be forgetting to scan one item of your grocery. That's a crime. You know, so I'm not 100% in support of all criminals should be deported. I think it depends on the crime. Anyway, people, that's pretty much all I have to say today. I look forward to hear what you guys have to say about the Indian family, the Swiss decision to get rid of all family members because of the father's crime. And at the same time, I would like people to tell me what do they think about the policies of the SVP. Before I go, I did do an internet dive into the SVP. And the SVP, I agree with 75% of their policies. The SVP believe in Swiss neutrality, Swiss army neutrality. They believe that Switzerland should mind their own business and don't get into other people's conflict. I'm 100% with that. They believe in Swiss independence, Swiss strength, Swiss quality. I'm all for that. There's a lot of things, you know, if you guys want to see, it's in English, it's on Google. SVP, a lot of their policies are great. And I look forward to meeting with this Swiss affiliate in the near future. And if anything juicy comes out of it, I will keep you guys posted. But like I say, that's pretty much it for now. But before I go, let me big up some people.
Big up yourself to the maximum.
First person I want to big up is a subscriber by the name of Mr. Lex. Then I want to big up Pat P. 123 Awa. Chosen Judahite. And last but not least, I want to big up Doja Fox.
Big up yourself to the maximum. Big up yourself to the maximum.
And that's pretty much it for me, people. Like I always say on this channel, I appreciate agreement and disagreement, thumbs up and thumbs down, because at the end of the day, people, each one teach one. You've reached the end of my video, and that in itself is a support that I truly appreciate. And while I'm at it, I will take this time out to let you guys know other ways that you can support my channel. The first and simplest way that you can support my channel is by giving this video a thumbs up. And the second and most important way that you can support this channel is by hitting that subscribe button and subscribe to my channel and follow me through my YouTube journey. Other ways that you can support my channel is by going to my Teespring online store and buying some of my merch. And another way that you guys can also support this channel is by joining me in Patreon to give me a contribution to support what I do on YouTube and what I do to entertain you guys. Once again, I want to thank you guys for your continuous support and ask that you join me, Ian T. Sebastian, on YouTube and see where my journey takes me. Until next time, people, peace.